cut you up, chop you up.
Welcome back to Boxing Insane. Accidental or intentional headbutts, teeth, they've got plenty of blood to spill. And skin constantly ripped open. These are the terrible consequences that losers suffer from the destructive power of the victor.
Everybody else, it's going to be banged out.
So today, let's look at some of the most gruesome losses in boxing. But before we get into the video, remember, like, subscribe, and tap the bell icon because you don't want to miss out on any updates. Let's get to that video. Now it's Gervonta Davis and Rolando Romero. Davis stops Romero with a single left counterpunch. It's round 6 of this lightweight bout, and he remains unbeaten at Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. With 35 seconds remaining, Romero lunged forward as he threw a right hand, and Davis counters with a pulverizing straight left, sending his opponent face into the ropes and then right to his seat.
For this victory and everything.
Next, it's Evander Holyfield and Mike Tyson.
Right by Mike Tyson.
Holyfield shocks the world in 1996 when he stops Tyson in the 11th round, and the rematch a year later, one of the most controversial and talked about in history. I know you know what's coming. Evander Holyfield had a chunk of his ear bitten off by his rival Mike Tyson after giving Iron Mike the second defeat of his boxing career. Tyson was disqualified after biting a chunk of his opponent's ear.
Deep. I just got a pretty good glance at it. Pushing. Look out now.
Next, it's Vitaly Klitschko versus Lennox Lewis. Brit hero Lewis successfully defending his WBC belt against Klitschko in 2003 after the challenger was pulled out after 6 rounds of a blood-soaked bout. In the 3rd round, Lewis came out aggressively and lands a strong right hand within the first 10 seconds and opens a deep cut above Klitschko's left eye.
He's got a real problem with that cut, Glenn.
50 stitches were needed to repair the skin that was savagely ripped from around his eye, but the fact that he was ahead on all 3 scorecards has forever pained Klitschko. Israel Vasquez versus Rafael Marquez.
Big right hander in every one of the fights then.
Vasquez suffered a number of horrific cuts in his 4th war with Rafael Marquez.
What kind of adjustments to make?
Each had the blood, sweat, and tears when the 2 bantamweights put it all on the line.
Maybe the faster fighter, but
Vasquez's left eyebrow looked like it wanted to escape there at the end. He had a big slit right above his right eye, and Marquez secured a 4th round win.
I think be a little bit closer to something like that.
yeah, the straight right hand without having to go after it. But he's
Vasquez had to admit defeat in that match with a terrible, bloody cut.
just a little more in this fight, even though Marquez is doing so well. Marquez always in this series. Vasquez comes back, but look at Marquez, man.
Next, it's Deontay Wilder and Sergey Lakovic. Deontay Wilder's destructive punching power again shown to full effect as he annihilates Lakovic in a brutal first-round KO. Wilder unleashed a ferocious right that landed on the 43-year-old's left temple and sends him crashing to the campus. Lakovic was left convulsing on the floor as he lost complete control of legs and arms. Next is Manny Pacquiao versus Miguel Cotto.
He's beating him right now with the jab.
Pacquiao fought for his place in boxing history via a technical knockout in the clash against Miguel Cotto.
Hard left hand and another. The punch. He's not.
Pacquiao threw punches and flurries from all angles until Cotto began to slow down. With swollen face, Cotto was bleeding from his nose and his cuts, and he couldn't stop Pacquiao from bouncing inside and throwing both hands at will.
Manny landed a little right hook in there. Punches, which Manny has known.
Then Manny pursues him nonstop until the end. Those combinations kept raining on Cotto, causing him to suffer a painful, bloody defeat.
Constantly, and he almost from clear guard.
Next, it's Canelo Alvarez and Amir Khan.
Versus power.
Against Khan, Alvarez needed only one big right to turn a close fight into a smashing knockout, and he leaves his British challenger out cold on his back in the middle of the ring. Struggling with Khan's speed, Alvarez unleashed a long right hand that sent Khan backward to the canvas, and referee Kenny Bayless didn't even bother to count him out at 2:37 of the 6th round. Jermell Charlo and Jorge Cota.
Jermell Charlo back in the ring for the first time since.
Charlo knocks Cota, a rugged Mexican southpaw, out cold with a vicious third-round KO in Las Vegas.
You gotta get guys rhythm.
Charlo felt things out for a couple of rounds, then caught Cota with a right hand that put the Mexican down in the 3rd round. Cota got up but was pretty clearly out on his feet, and referee Jay Nady sent him back into the fray anyway.
Not again. He's trying to put. And like I said, here it comes. He wasn't ready to stand back in there.
Badou Jack versus Marcus Browne. Jack sustains a horrific cut to his head midway through the WBC Silver light heavyweight title fight against Marcus Browne. The Swedish boxer came off worse when the fighters clashed heads in the 7th round, boom, leaving him with a deep wound on his forehead that just poured blood. It looked like an axe wound on his head. Badou Jack was always going to struggle and cope with this horrific injury, one of the worst cuts ever seen in the boxing ring. Despite the injury gushing with claret blood, Jack was allowed to continue and somehow made it to the end of the fight. Well, that's our compilation of the most brutal losses in boxing history. Did we miss any clashes that ought to be on the list? What do you want to know more about? Well, leave your comments below and let us know. And don't forget, like, subscribe, tap that bell icon. That way you don't miss any videos from Boxing Insane. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.
Tyson against the ropes. I'll tell you what, the crowd's going to hyper. You want to close the show? I think Pacquiao going to go in for the kill. Pacquiao is looking for KO 11 right here.